And today, a local restaurant owner, Chris Lewis, held a fundraiser for a special cause. Jasmine Bingham has more on how the cause will benefit families.
Today, Coney Island Connections owner Chris Lewis held a fundraiser to donate to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital to support children and families in need. Coney Island Connection began its fundraiser at 10:30 this morning. Half of the proceeds from the restaurant's best-selling menu option, the chili dog, will be donated to St. Jude. Owner Chris Lewis says he understands what families are experiencing and wanted to do something that would have a lasting impact.
We donate to St. Jude's because at birth, my daughter was weighing 1 pound, 10 ounces. And for 90 days, she was in the hospital. And I can understand how finances get at times. Families, it's hard to pay your bills. It's very hard to get gas to drive back and forth to the hospital. This is solely about helping families in need and providing for their families.
Coney Island Connection wasn't alone in its efforts to give back. First Methodist West Monroe's Frontline Youth held a car wash fundraiser to add to the proceeds. St. Jude official Rosalind Pogue says proceeds will help families to pay for expenses like treatment, overnight hospital stays, and more.
All of this goes and it helps these children with their cancer treatments. It helps the families as far as like room and board expenses. Families do not owe a bill. And you know it gets very, very expensive when it deals with serious medical treatments and so forth. Because of you and thanks to you, we're able to help these children have a second chance in life.
Chris says while he can't do it alone, everyone can help someone, and we are better together than apart. Reporting in West Monroe, I'm Jasmine Bingham, KNOE 8 News.